A Facebook friend recently pointed out that if you're questioning the government lockdown, then the reaction you might get from supporters of this nefarious deed is that you hate America and want grandma to die. Well, this is about the same caliber of argument you get when confronted by climate alarmists or those that think it's okay to kill the preborn. Unfortunately, Americans supporting this lockdown aren't seeing the real picture, that our basic God-given rights are under assault. We'll discuss that in this episode of Analysis Behind the News, where we provide the perspective that you can use to help save American liberty and independence. The fear and hysteria due to the government and media's handling of the Wuhan coronavirus is so great that it seems Americans are willing to give up all that this country was founded upon: freedom. Benjamin Franklin was quoted as saying that those willing to trade liberty for temporary security deserve neither. Now, that may seem a bit harsh, but he's absolutely correct. The precedence that is being set right now is alarming. As our news magazine has pointed out, governments around the world are trying to stop the coronavirus by curbing the market and stopping the lives of hundreds of millions of people. To stop the pandemic, the opposite approach is desperately needed. Well, historically speaking, governments exercising this type of control have stripped citizens of their freedom, and with their central planning ended up taking their society backward instead of forward. Communists are infamously notable for doing so. But a free people, unencumbered by government bureaucracy, sees results in the rapid improvement of their health and their welfare. As the New American wrote in its special report of its printed magazine, in fact, we can see the productive power of the free market at work even under the current pandemic lockdown conditions imposed by government bureaucrats today. Because there is such an obvious demand for products and services to fight the coronavirus, many of the remaining companies that have been allowed to continue operating under despotic government lockdown orders have devoted their productive capacity and research and development teams to developing solutions and providing needed supplies. Well, these companies include American tissue paper producers, as well as Canon USA, who is working on a rapid COVID-19 test, Gilead Sciences creating an antiviral drug to battle the virus, Regeneron working on an antibody treatment, and pharmaceutical giant Sanofi announced that it is working with Regeneron on another treatment for COVID-19. As the writer at the New American states, these are just a few of the actions being taken by private companies and their dedicated scientists, engineers, and production workers to bring needed resources to bear on the problems posed by the novel coronavirus. That they have not needed government direction, oversight, or control to undertake these efforts demonstrates that government is not the solution to the pandemic. It's worth noting that in several of these examples, the companies noted that trials and efforts now underway were made possible by efforts to cut through government regulations that would otherwise prove to be roadblocks to rapid innovation. And most importantly, the writer concludes, there has been set up by propaganda in the press, by demagogic politicians, and accepted by a frightened population that we face a deadly dichotomy. We can save people by shutting down and putting essential businesses under the control of government, or we can reopen with business as usual and cause the deaths of millions. This is an oversimplification at best and a pernicious lie at worst. A free people engaged in economic operations in a free market has proven without question and over centuries to be the greatest engine of innovation and prosperity possible. The precedents we are setting today will do more harm than good. To help combat this false dichotomy, we've made the PDF of the special report of the New American free. We want you to understand what is being done and why. We even dive into the science of the virus to prove to you that although it is a threat, it is less deadly than previously thought. This Wuhan COVID-19 virus is not the disease that removes the human species from the planet. Even if tens of millions become infected, 98 to 99% or more will survive the disease. So don't let fear and panic drive the narrative or drive your life or be used as an excuse to diminish your rights and those of future generations. Please read the special report of the magazine and share it with many others. The link to this free PDF is in the description. We're also printing many more physical copies available than we normally would, so please order some now so you can distribute to others, especially after this tyranny is lifted. Don't become a statistic, become an activist. Until next time, we'll see you then.